Okay, so I'm going to respond to this video, a little bit of it. Probably not going to do the whole video, but the video is called Racism Against Indians Has Got So Much Worse. I think I should just get some shit out of the way. I've worked with Indians, and one of the things that was particularly good where I was working with them was that they would work very hard, and they would always do overtime. It was almost like they'd call it Indian time, the overtime, because basically all the Indians would do overtime. I would do overtime too, because I wanted the fucking money, right? But also, I've worked with a lot of Indians, and they don't fuck about. They work super hard. They work super hard, and if I was an employer, I would, at least in the jobs that I've worked with Indians, I would definitely employ them because they work fucking hard. And okay, when I was working with the Indians, most people didn't get to work with the Indians because the Indians were the best. They were the best. Okay, I happened to be good at what I did. I happened to be talented in a way. I was the best amongst everybody else. And then I got promoted to the Indians, and that's when I realized, now these guys are the best. These guys are fucking machines. So yeah, I've worked with Indians. I respect Indians. I've got no problem with Indians, okay? But when I'm telling that story, I was working overseas, right? They were working overseas. I wasn't working in India. I wasn't working in England. Do you know what I mean? Like, basically, the Indians were the best of the overseas employees, and I was one of the best of the non-Indian employees. But I ended up working with the Indians because they were the best. So I understand the whole shit. I understand that. But this video is a bit different. This is like racism against Indians has got so much worse. I don't know if is this guy American? Maybe it's racism in America or something. Let's see. Let's start.
Because there were recent waves of Indian immigration to Canada on certain visas. I made a video last year, I think, that was about the out-of-control racism against Indians on social media, but that really focused on Canada because there were recent waves of Indian immigration to Canada on...
I'll be fair, I don't know about the racism on social media against Indians, but I do remember because I watched Owen Benjamin, and he had this whole pretty deep thing that he kind of, I don't know if he started or if he jumped on it. So yeah, maybe there was some kind of racism, but I'm not on Twitter. I don't fucking know. I'm on YouTube, man. And on YouTube, you don't see anything because YouTube's is a curated garden, The AI algorithm will get rid of any videos that are in any way racist or any comments that are in any way racist. Luckily, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't need to get involved, but I guess he's talking about Twitter.
Certain visas, and there was loads of racism online directed primarily at Indians, and what they would often frame it as oh, Canadians can no longer get jobs at Tim Hortons.
Hang on, is this dude Canadian? He's talking about Canadians because he sounds really English. But he's definitely English, right?
And stuff like that quickly became apparent. A lot of it was to do with just blatant racism. And you can watch that video for yourself and ask yourselves, do these people have questions and grievances with the immigration system, or do they just hate brown people? And
well, I think there could be. I don't know. You're talking about Canada or something, but immigration. If there's too much immigration, and I know this from England, and okay, if you don't like this, fucking unsubscribe. I don't give a shit, right? But the immigration that we had, particularly, or I had to experience, was particularly people from Eastern Europe. We're talking about Lithuania, particularly Poland, Estonia, those kind of places, right? And you know what they would do, right? They'd come and they would work. And I was working in these places before they came, and I saw them come. No disrespect, these guys are the hardest working motherfuckers you'll ever meet, right? So they kind of work super hard. They work better than most English people. But the thing is, it's because they're working, or at least back then, we're talking like, a few years ago and shit. So like they're working and saving the money, and they will literally go back to fucking Bulgaria. They'll go back to Poland. They'll go back to Estonia. They'll go back to Lithuania and literally buy houses. Literally buy houses from working for like 3 or 4 years in the UK. Or at least be sending enough money back home to do that shit. So the difference is, which no one really understands unless you are like a low-wage guy. If you're a low-wage guy in England, you're never fucking gonna buy a house, right? And these guys come here, come to England, and they can work and save, and in a few years actually own a property back where they are. They can achieve the dream of, at least it used to be like this. Maybe it's not like it's now, but it used to be. We're talking like many years ago. They could achieve a kind of economic independence, Like I would talk to these guys, I'd work with these guys. So I'm going to buy a house for me and my family. It's like paid, not mortgage, paid. And I'm going to buy a place that I'm going to rent out, and that's going to pay all of our shit. It's like the dream. Now, you can't do that if you're an English person doing this kind of job in England. It's impossible because England's fucked for the English. And it's fucked for everybody. But these guys would come, they'd work, save up, send all the money home and shit, and then they could achieve economic freedom, which would mean that they would work very hard. They're not going to complain for overtime. Like, the boss goes, shit, we haven't done the orders, we need 3 more hours from everybody. They're all going to do it. Do you know what I mean? That kind of shit. And there is no, even when there was overtime, they wouldn't get paid for overtime. It's just like you expected to just work. That kind of shit. But I get it, because for them, they are achieving something, They are achieving something. They are literally getting economic freedom from working in England. And I'm guessing, I'm talking like probably like about 20 years ago. It's probably not like that anymore, but it was like that then. And I don't know what's got to do with this video, but I've gone off on a tangent. My point is, like, as an employer, you're going to want these people because they're going to give you way less shit than any English person. And if you want them to work overtime at any point, they'll do it. Oh, sorry guys, we need to work tomorrow on a Sunday. It's your day off. I know it's your day off, but we need to do it. English people are going to just kick off and shit. No. People from Eastern Europe, in their head, they're making a lot more money. They're making the same money, but they're making more money, if you know what I mean. Because what they can do with the money, they still have this idea of, at least, if not economic freedom, a lot of economic power. Whereas if you're an English guy, you got to live in England, you're fucking stuck there, then you're fucked.
You can be the judge of that. So a post on Canadian, which this person says, I'm sick of the environment we've created. Maybe this is because I work in a college in Southern Ontario, but that really focused on Canada because there were recent waves of Indian immigration to Canada.
Oh, I apologize. This guy's actually English. I can tell he's completely English. I can guarantee he's not fucking worked in a factory. I'm sure. I can guarantee he's not worked on a fucking farm in England.
On certain visas, and there was loads of racism online directed primarily at Indians, and what they would often frame it as oh, Canadians can no longer get jobs at like Tim Hortons and stuff like that. Quickly became apparent a lot of it was to do with just like blatant racism, and you can watch that video for yourself.
Okay, so he's talking about like people not being able to get jobs. Okay, I don't know that much about like that kind of shit, but I know that when at least in England, when it became the European Union, because I worked on farms before then and after then, it was literally an overnight change. It was literally overnight. I was one of the few English people that was working on the farm. And we're talking like maybe like me, there's a girl that worked in the shop, there was the other forklift truck driver. We're talking like actual employees, you know, like probably, I'd say like English employees when they opened up the whole Eastern European thing, the EU, in 1 year. In 1 year, it changed to where like I was probably percentage-wise like an 8% or 10%. Do you know what I mean?
And ask yourselves, do these people have questions and grievances with the immigration system, or do they just hate brown people? And you can be the judge of that. So a post on Canadian, which this person says, I'm sick of the environment we've created. Maybe this is because I work in a college in Southern Ontario. Maybe this is because I'm a woman. It could be a number of things. But I absolutely detest the environment we've created. I can't go anywhere and not be bombarded with Hindi and whatever other Indian language is drilling my eardrums. They stand in doorways of groups of 18 to 15 men. They stare at you.
Okay, I can get like hearing like a foreign language in your own country. I've had to deal with this in a way, but it didn't bother me. I'm talking about when I was working on the farm on the farm. Yeah, like the language changed. From most of the workers were Eastern European or whatever, right? I don't know what their fucking common language is. Russian a little bit or something. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like I became, I don't know what these guys are saying. That's fine. That wasn't really a problem, but I think, let's just go back here. There might be something a little bit deeper in this complaint.
Absolutely detest the environment we've created. I can't go anywhere and not be bombarded with Hindi and whatever other Indian language is drilling my eardrums. They stand in doorways of groups of 18 to 15 men. They stare at you.
That might be the thing. 18 to 15 men staring. That might be the problem. I doubt it's a language problem.
If you don't wear baggy clothes, I'm currently sitting on a GO train and can't think straight because three massive groups are literally yelling across the train at each other in their own language non-stop. and I've had to move cars already. I feel...
Let people speak their own language, but I think, from what I know, there is a certain leering, okay? There's a certain leering, which is, I don't know if it's like because white women are so beautiful to these guys, or if it's just like okay to leer in these countries. And people are not used to it, I guess. Women are not used to it in the West. I'm assuming he's talking about Canada or England or something.
This way at work. I feel this way is going into Toronto. I feel this way in random towns now. People have approached me at work asking if they can fish the koi on campus. More than once, I'm tired of receiving questions about food banks. There's too many people simply not caring about our way of life and coming here to be disrespectful towards anyone else around them.
I can just say one thing, like, it doesn't matter. I think if you're like a really hot girl anywhere in the world, you're going to get some kind of harassment. But if you're like a hot girl, right, and you go to certain countries, which I probably can't name because maybe this video will get banned, but I can guarantee, and I've known women that have gone to these countries, they just get fucking harassed and leered a lot. And what he's talking about is a woman who's in another country where perhaps those people who are from those countries where if you go on holiday you get leered at, are leering at them in their own country. I think that's what's going on. Let's just go back.
At you if you don't wear baggy clothes. I'm currently sitting on a GO train and can't think straight because three massive groups are literally yelling across the train at each other in their own language non-stop, and I've had to move cars already. I feel this way at work. I feel this way is going into Toronto. I feel this way in random towns now. People have approached me at work asking if they can fish the koi on campus. More than once, I'm tired of receiving questions about food banks. There's too many people simply not caring about our way of life and coming here to be disrespectful towards anyone else around them. I'm so tired of putting up with social acceptance when only one side is told to be tolerant. I mourn the multicultural mosaic we used to be. It was beautiful while it lasted. Out of all the countries to import people, why did they import Indians of all? Because there's an endless supply of them, and they're accustomed to living the standards of farm animals. Who better?
Well, I mean, this is getting really toxic and shit. I work with some Indian people, and they're great, but they can be kind of difficult customers. But it's a fact. Like, India is like the biggest growing population on the world. Get used to it. Get used to it.
Cope with Canada's declining quality of life. Literally the worst choice. Korean, Ukrainian, South American, so many other cultures worked well. But what has happened since I released that video is racism against Indians online has got even more insane.
Okay, racism online could be more insane. But India has a culture. It's a diverse place. It has a culture. And not just that, a lot of the guys, if you're Indian and you can afford to go overseas, right, for whatever, you're probably coming from a kind of good background, at least a little bit. So you're kind of a little bit high class in India. And in India, being high class, you can get away with some shit, right? And then these guys will come to Western countries, and they've got this attitude because they're used to being quite rich, right? And having servants and shit. And then I don't care what anyone says. Fuck, I don't care if I get fucking banned. There can be a little bit too much when it comes to foreign women. Okay? I'm just going to say that.
And I think that's because it's been picked up as more of a political cause by...
And if this cunt doesn't address that problem, which is a fact, it's a fact, Ask any woman who has to deal with these kind of guys, right? Ask them. It's a fucking fact. If he's not going to address that, then he's delusional. He's
the American far right. And this video is about that, but it's also about the American far right, which is constantly defended by people like J.D. Vance. They're the ones leading this, but they're also doing it against South Asian political figures who are on their side, like Kash Patel, the director of the CIA. And I think this just goes to show that even though we're entering an age in like...
Okay, so this guy, he's talking about American politics and shit. That's fair enough. I guess he's like a political commentator. I'm not going to talk about American politics. I'm English. I can talk about England. Okay, and I can talk about the countries I've lived in. I don't think he's lived in America. He probably is guessing about shit if he doesn't live there. He lives in England, and I don't know where he lives, but he might know some of the problems that I'm being very careful not to talk about.
Global fascism and white supremacy, where there is a degree of tolerance for non-white faces in the leadership of these movements. At the end of the day, if these South Asians or black leaders in conservative movements in Western countries think they're actually ever going to be accepted and think they're actually safe from the policies and the culture they're creating by whipping up this far-right rhetoric and xenophobic rhetoric, and also just introducing policies that help the far right, they've got a surprise coming. We've seen this in the UK to some degree as well, and I'll talk a little bit about that before getting into the main bit of the video. But it just goes to show that, like, for people who are in any...
Okay, I can just say, like, he's obviously English now. I guarantee he's not lived in the places I've lived. I've lived in some areas, like Nottingham, for instance, where there's lots of I can't get this video banned. There's where you're in a minority as a white English person, right? And that should be cool. But the kids of these people, the youth, you know, they were talking about like 15 to 22 or something, are fucking dangerous cunts. Dangerous to live with. You know what I mean? He might not know this. He's probably never fucking lived in those places.
Minority that is traditionally hated by white supremacists, just because they accept you to a degree in their movement does...
And you know, like, you're only going to live in those places when you can't afford not to. I guarantee his neighbors look like him. He's not lived where I've fucking lived. He's not being scared to go out of his fucking house. Do you know what I mean? He's not seen these gangs of these fucking kids with the, you know, the balaclavas over their faces and baseball bats and shit, and, you know, having turf wars, you know, on your fucking, where you live, where you just want to fucking live. You just want to live and go to work. And you go, and the local shopping place has got like a police fucking cordon around it because someone's being stabbed up and shit. And we know, okay, certain demographics of stabbed up people, and probably stabbed up their own demographic, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But if you gotta fucking live there, you gotta live in that shit, not fucking cool, man. It's fucking horrible.
Doesn't mean they actually will accept you forever, especially when they gain total power, because they don't actually want you. They don't accept you. They think your religious views, they think your culture is backwards, and they would love to get rid of you. They would love to deport you. And you see that more and more in the language of both British conservatives and American conservatives.
Are you talking about deporting people? Okay, like, I'll be honest, right? If you're here illegally, maybe you should be deported. That's all I'm going to say. If you're here legally, you're here legally. Then it comes to the question of, because this whole bullshit that's going on now, it's like, oh, boat people or something. Like, you know what percentage of that is of like immigration? It's fucking nothing, right? And I've spent most of my life working overseas, and I've had to like produce paperwork, fucking medicals, fucking show I've got enough money and shit. All this show I've got qualifications, a job offer, and I'll get offered like a visa for 1 year, and it costs a lot of money, or 2 years max. And I've done this most of my life overseas, right? As an English person from England, I've had to really work hard to be able to work overseas. So this whole idea of like, oh, fucking boat people, we're talking about what's that, like 1% or something? It's absolute bullshit. It's a distraction. The real issue in the UK is legal immigration. That's the real issue. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll go try work in Australia. You're gonna have to fucking, or to go and live there. If you're gonna go and emigrate there, it's like 2 years of fucking paperwork and shit, right? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, the problem is not illegal immigration in England, it's legal immigration.
Just deporting anyone, basically, who doesn't align with their Western white supremacist views. So all of that coming up for you today. But before we go...
It's not white supremacist. Do you know what I mean? It's not white supremacy. It's having a problem with where you live within like 10 or 15 years changing massively demographically, which I'm guessing, has never actually experienced.
Further, if you like my video after you watched it, please either like, maybe subscribe to the channel, and also if you want to support my work, please check out my Patreon page and check out my YouTube memberships. And if you want to follow me on social media, please follow me at the Cavernacle.
Okay, so I just want to say, like, I like this guy. He's kind of cool. Like, it's like you know, there's this thing where like everybody in the world is doing what they think is right. Most people are doing what they think is right. Like, this guy isn't trying to get rich. This guy's, he believes what he says, right? He believes it. He's actually trying to make the world a better place. And I respect him for having the balls to come on fucking YouTube and try to make the world a better place. But I'm guessing he hasn't lived in the places I've lived.
On Blue Sky and also on my Instagram page. So anti-Indian hate has been ramping up in like most Western countries.
No, like anti-Indian hate, I can tell you, like, from my experience in England, a little bit. Let's just pretend I'm like a far right white supremacist or something. And my family are, and all the people I know are, you know, like myself and those other people have never had problem with Sikh people, Sikhs, ever. And pretty much never had a problem with Hindus, you know? And I think in India, Hindu is probably one of the most common religions and ways of life. Sikh might be a little bit less, but they're very good businessmen, and it seems they're pretty good in the communities in England, the Sikhs, particularly the Sikhs. So he's talking about Indian hate. I don't think the word is Indian hate. I think it's something else that he's not wanting to say.
I'd say, but it's also a weird one for someone like myself, and I spoke about this way more in the other video. Growing up in a part of London that is very South Asian, and having like Indian and South Asian friends, and having people I know who are from South Asian families, there is a degree of acceptance in British society, which is a very racist society, for Indian people, especially Indian.
But he just called the English society, okay, I don't know London, but I'm from fucking England, right? It's the least, right? And I've traveled in many places in the world. I'm not like, I'm so cool, like fucking suck my dick. I've been around the world, but I've kind of lived in many places, okay? And England's one of the least racist places I've ever lived, and I'm from there. I went to school there. We had like fucking people in my school, even in the north of England, from all around the fucking world. And it's pretty, your friend can be from any color or something. Do you know what I mean? And at least, okay, you might be talking about maybe London's racist. I doubt it. I think England is one of the least racist places in the fucking world. It's like it's so not racist, it's actually racist from my experience. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's so welcoming to everybody that the only race that is kind of looked down on is the white race, in a way. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to shit, when it comes to whatever, I could tell some stuff. I'll make a fucking video about it, actually. My experience growing up with this reverse racism, because it fucking exists. Okay, I can't talk for London. He's from London, I'm guessing. But I severely doubt when he says England is a racist place. That's like ridiculous.
Hindus and Sikhs. And that's because in terms of just who we've decided that we're going to demonize the most in the UK, it happens to be Muslims. And it could be Muslims.
Oh, yeah, okay, so he's addressed what I'm talking about. Let's just go back a little bit. I wonder why they've been demonized. Anyone in the comments want to say?
Like most Western countries, I'd say, but it's also a weird one for someone like myself, and I spoke about this way more in the other video. Growing up in a part of London that is very South Asian, and having like Indian and South Asian friends, and having people I know who are from South Asian families, there is a degree of acceptance in British society, which is a very racist society, for Indian people, especially Indian Hindus and Sikhs. And that's because in terms...
Okay, I'm just going to go back again. He said, like, he did just say that England's a very racist society. I still take a problem with that shit. But, okay, let's hear him out. We're going to go back. We're going to listen to what he said.
So anti-Indian hate has been ramping up in like most Western countries, I'd say, but it's also a weird one for someone like myself, and I spoke about this way more in the other video. Growing up in a part of London that is very South Asian, and having like Indian and South Asian friends, and having people I know who are from South Asian families, there is a degree of acceptance in British society, which is a very racist society, for Indian people, especially Indian Hindus and Sikhs. And that's because in terms of just who we've decided that we're going to demonize the most in the UK, it happens to be Muslims. And it could be Muslims from a South Asian background, but not exclusively. And I guess what you can see, the hatred for Indians in America and Canada, that's their version of hating Muslims. Because yes, they hate Muslims as well, But because Muslim populations generally are smaller in Canada and America, they focus their hatred more on Indians because it isn't really about,
No, like, okay, he's talking about America and shit. He's not from America. I'm not from America. But he's talking about English things about to try to make it American or something. And as I said before, pretty much nobody has a problems with Sikhs in England. They're Indian. Hindus, pretty much no one's really got a problem with them. They don't love them as much as the Sikhs, you know? I think the problem is a different problem, and it's because of what those people, not all of them, it's what some people do. Some of them do in England, and how some of them behave in England, and what some of them criminally do in England, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, there ain't no one got no problem in fucking England with the Sikhs, right? It's my fucking point. And he's saying it's anti-Indian. No. Call it what it is. It's anti something else. It's not anti-Indian.
Hatred of a religion or hatred of a specific country. It's hatred of non-white people. And that's why it's insane in the UK when...
No. It's not about hatred of non-white people. It's not hatred of... Ask any person in England what they think of Sikhs. And I can tell you right now, I've known Sikhs, right? I grew up with Sikhs. Sikhs went to my school. One of my friends was Sikh and shit. And do you know what the thing about Sikhs? They're brown. They're not fucking white. No one's got a problem with them. Do you know what I mean? So it's not white supremacy. It's not like I hate these brown people. I would fucking bet 1,000 bitcoins that, like, you can't find a white guy in England that hates Sikhs. Do you know what I mean? So he's saying it's all about being brown. Well, Sikhs are brown. They are. I don't think there's any white Sikhs. I don't think there's any, like, converts to fucking Punjabi Sikh shit. Do you know what I mean? All the Sikhs in England are brown, and nobody has a problem with them. Not one person. In fact, they're almost like respected more. It's like, look at these guys. They work hard. Sikhs work hard. Sikhs are honest, and Sikhs are good at business because they're honest. Because what they do as well, like, they will imagine you're a Sikh guy, right? And you got like a shop that sells beer or something, right? Like, now you can buy beer from the cheapest supplier. You know what I mean? The cheapest supplier. He's gonna sell you the bottles of beer or the cans of beer for like 50 pence, and you can sell them for 70. Now, what these guys do, they look after their own community. They're like, no, I'm not going to buy it off you for 50 pence. I'm going to buy it off one of the Sikh guys for 55 pence. You know what I mean? Whereas all the English businessmen are chasing zero, making everything cheap. These guys are like, we'll keep it in the family. I'm going to buy the beer off my cousin. It's going to be like, it's going to be 5 pence more beer. 5 pence, not 50 pence a can. It's going to be 55, but I'm going to look after him. And the whole group of those guys look after each other. And you know what actually happens? They end up being more successful because they're not chasing the fucking zero.
There is a degree of acceptance in British society, which is a very racist society, for Indian people, racist. Especially Indian Hindus and Sikhs. And that's because in terms of just who we've decided that we're going to demonize the most in the UK, it happens to be Muslims. And it could be Muslims from a South Asian background, but not exclusively. And I guess what you...
Has there been any like Sikh, they call the word grooming gangs. Has there been any Sikh grooming gangs? I don't like the word grooming gang. I think more like, let's give young women lots of drugs like crack cocaine and shit. Maybe they're already on it, but let's at least get them hooked on it. And then, young, don't want to get demonetized here. Grooming gangs. Let's give these young women drugs, get them fucking hooked, seduce them through the drugs, fuck them when they're probably too young for that shit, and then pimp them out. As an almost an industry. Has the Sikhs done that? Has the Hindu guys done that? Maybe there's some Hindu guys done, I don't know. There's definitely not been any Sikhs done that. So this idea that he's talking about, it's kind of bullshit. It's like, if people have no problem with the Sikhs, that means the Sikhs are good. Because they don't fucking take the piss. They don't exploit. You know what I mean? I'm going to go back a little bit. I might have gone too far.
Like Indian and South Asian friends, and having people I know who are from South Asian families, there is a degree of acceptance in British society, which is a very racist society, for Indian people, especially Indian Hindus and Sikhs. And that's because in terms of just who we've decided that we're...
No, yeah, it's because he's kind of saying, well, England's so racist. We fucking hate brown people, but somehow we're okay with the Hindus. There's probably no white Hindu in the fucking country, and we're probably okay with the Sikhs, and it's because we're racist or something. He's not going to mention the fact that those motherfuckers haven't. The word I can say, grooming gangs. Where's their grooming gangs? Where is the Hindu grooming gangs? Where is the Sikh grooming gangs? And I'll tell you something I know a little bit about Sikhs, because I knew some Sikh people when I was growing up. There was the other people who are not the Sikhs and not the Hindus would actually prey upon the Sikh girls, the young Sikh girls. Do you know what I mean? So the Sikh people probably know about this shit way more than anyone else does. Do you know what I mean? The Sikh community. We're talking. I'm literally talking like 25 years ago. This shit was going on with the people that are not the Sikhs and not the Hindus. Yeah, they'd prey on white girls, but they'd prey on Sikh girls. Almost particularly want Sikh girls. The Sikhs know about this shit. They know about this shit more than anyone else, man. Are they racist? You know what I mean? Do they hate brown people? Oh, the Sikhs just fucking hate brown people, right?
Demonized the most in the UK. it happens to be Muslims. And it could be Muslims from a South Asian background, but not exclusively. And I guess what you can see, the hatred for Indians in America and Canada, is that's their version of hating Muslims. Because yes, they hate Muslims as well, but because Muslim populations generally are smaller in Canada and America, they focus their hatred more on Indians, because it isn't really about, hatred of a religion or hatred of a specific country. It's hatred of non-white people. And that's why it's insane in the UK when you see South Asians who might be Hindu really whipping up racism and xenophobia.
Okay, so perhaps in America it's a whole different thing, because I don't think they have this problem of organized families and like gangs, cousin gangs and stuff, who actually have so much power and untouchability, or at least they did have, where they can get away with getting young girls hooked on shit or giving them drugs, and they're pimping them out and fucking them. We're talking like absolutely next level unlawful shit, which was happening in England. I guess in America, maybe it's different. Maybe it's just like, oh, these guys are stealing our jobs or something.
Phobia against Muslims, thinking that white supremacists in England actually make a distinction between Pakistani and Indian Muslims and Indian Hindus. They definitely don't, but at the moment, Indian Hindus are generally a bit more accepted by racist societies. But we
Hang
can't...
on, did you just say something about Pakistanis and shit? Because I don't give a fuck. I'll get banned. I'm going to tell you, I've lived in England. I've worked with these people. I can tell you the truth.
In Canada and America, they focus their hatred more on Indians, because it isn't really about, hatred of a religion or hatred of a specific country. It's hatred of non-white people. And that's why it's insane in the UK when you see South Asians who might be Hindu really whipping up racism and xenophobia against Muslims, thinking that white supremacy...
Oh no, but I thought it was all about brown people. When perhaps maybe actually the Hindus and Sikhs are more scared of the Muslims than any white person in England.
In England actually make a distinction between Pakistani and Indian Muslims and Indian Hindus. They definitely don't, but at the moment...
Yeah, okay, so most people in England do not know the difference between an Indian Muslim and a Pakistani Muslim. I have worked with Indians. I know the difference. And I'll tell you who you want to be working with. I'll tell you who you want as a next door neighbor. Do you know what I mean? And it's definitely the Indian Muslim.
Indian Hindus are generally a bit more accepted by racist societies. But we can't talk about whipping up racism against Indian people and people from South Asian backgrounds without talking about Zoran Mamdani. And of course, before we get into the Conservatives, I just want to talk about this in terms of the climate in America right now.
Yeah, he's talking about America and shit. He's been talking about England. I can guarantee he's never lived in an area where he is a minority as a white guy. Because he has not enough money or whatever. I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure. Because whatever beliefs you have, however, I was a little bit like this guy, man. A little bit like this guy. Until you live with these people, right? Where you're a minority and you're scared to fucking go out your fucking house. And it's like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, man. But like, he doesn't know it. Because if you ever experienced that, you can't hold on to these beliefs. Do you know what I mean? You can't hold on to the beliefs when you're living with these motherfuckers, man.
gone absolutely berserk because there's been pictures of Zoran eating rice with his hands. And it's just such like a knee-jerk racist reaction.
No, but this is all bullshit. Like, fucking, I got no problem eating food in my hands. And I've been around the world, and I've been to India, I've been to Nepal, you eat with your hands and shit. I eat my hands everywhere. This is like a false argument or something. People do not have a problem with people eating with their hands. What people have a problem with, right, is when you're living in your own country and the people around you have more power than you for some reason in the law, and they're fucking pimping young girls out. You know what I mean? And not getting fucking in any trouble for it. You know what I mean? That's a fucking problem. When everybody knows what's going on, and for some reason, the cops don't really hit down hard on it. That's the fucking problem. No one really gives a shit in England if someone eats with their hands. I don't give a fuck. Does anybody really give a fuck? The people he says are racist, or that they fucking hate brown people or something. Do you think they've got a problem with this in England? He's moved it to America now. Do you think people in England really have a problem if somebody eats with their fucking hands? No. As long as they're not fucking pimping out and getting their kids fucking addicted to shit and doing shit I can't say on YouTube. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the fucking problem. Not like, oh, he's eating with his fucking hands. I've eaten with my hands in Nepal. I eat with my hands most of the time. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. But I will say, I don't wipe my ass with the same hand I eat with, you know. But no one in India does either.
From conservatives in America, because they don't even stop to think about like how we in Western countries have also been raised to eat many, many things with our hands. So what is the actual difference between eating a sandwich, pizza, crisps, fries?
Okay, I'm going to give this guy a little bit more time. We're like 6 minutes in or something, or 7 minutes in. We've now moved to America and somebody eating with their hands. Like that's got anything to do with what he's saying. Everyone's fucking racist in England and everybody hates brown people. Which they don't, as I've said before. They do not hate brown people. People in England are the least racist pretty much of everywhere I've ever been in the world. Bar no country. Bar no country. They might have a problem with a certain particular group of people. And it's not even that. It's more like they've had a problem with the police not policing that. The real problem is the police not policing that group of people. Anybody, almost, from any religion, I guess, or something, if you just let them get away with shit, maybe they're going to get away with shit, so they will do more shit. The problem most people have had in England, and I was like this guy, do you know what I mean? Until I went to like kind of look into it, and then I realized, like, hang on, these people who we're being told are racists, whatever, you know, hate brown people, hate anyone that's not English. No, what all of them were saying was literally the police are not policing fairly. Right? We're talking like the last almost 20 years. It took me a while to realize that actually what these people are saying is their problem is not with brown people. Their problem is not with Indians. Their problem is not with any of that shit. The problem is with the government and the police who are not stopping this shit because they're scared to be racist, and also letting this particular group of this particular race do shit that no one else could get away with in England. That's a fucking problem. That's a fucking problem. It's not that these people hate brown people. I don't know, maybe some of them hate brown people. That's not the issue, though. The issue is always been with these people. When you actually talk to them and find out what their problem is, the problem is not with the brown, his particular, the ones I can't say. Not the Sikhs, obviously, or the Hindus, obviously. It's that the problem these guys have is that the local police are not doing anything. The problem with these guys have is that the national police are not doing anything. It's not like, are these cunts are fucking eating with their hands? Do you know what I mean? Well, okay. So you're like 7 minutes in, we're talking about America now. If it gets to like 10 minutes and he's still talking about America, I'm fucking out of this video, right? I'm fucking out of it, man.
Our hands and eating rice. The only difference is you've been raised to see one as okay and one as not okay. But what they think when they see this, and the reaction has been, oh my God, Zoran Mamdani is so unhygienic. He's backwards. Like, this culture is so backwards. They're eating rice with their hands.
Yeah, we're still talking about the kind of shit. We're not talking about like certain countries. And I've met these people from these certain countries, not just in the UK and around the world, and they have a particular culture where it's kind of okay to do the shit that they've been doing in the UK, which is not okay. It's not okay in the UK. It's not okay where they do it. They think it's okay. Do you know what I mean? And it's not the Sikhs, by the way.
Like, it's the most scandalous thing ever. And you see this, and here's a post of him doing it. Is he eating with his hands?
Locked to traditional ways of paying? Unlock the new Union Bank mobile tap to pay. Fast,
eating with his hands. Gross, beyond gross. Bhaskar Sankara writing back. It's actually really easy to eat rice with your hands. People act like this is some barbaric ritual when it's just basic table dexterity for a billion or two people
because this whole
a day.
Rice
People underneath saying,
but
why didn't your culture create
from the
eating
real
utensils?
issue?
And then someone just tweeting at him, actually, you're going back, right? So anyone defending eating rice with your hands has to be deported, according to the American far right. And it's just so insane. Like, even that Sydney Watson, who is a far right Australian, saying that, like, oh, you come from a culture that didn't invent eating utensils. Okay, we'll use your logic. You come from a white settler culture that does use eating utensils. So why do you eat so much shit with your hands then? If you're so much better than all those barbarians in other countries who eat with their hands, why do you still eat with your hands? Like, most people eat with their hands every single day, no matter what country they live in. You having a problem because it's specifically rice, because it looks different to you, just shows you're just such a fucking racist. I don't understand the logic that it's okay when it's...
So I get that shit. I get what he's talking about. It's like, it's pointless. And those people making those points, if that's what they did, are pointless. And they're probably part of the whole fucking distraction shit. Okay, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on now. Not my tinfoil hat. Tinfoil does not work. That's also a misdirection, a misinformation. What you need is copper mesh hat, right? And it has to be copper mesh, and it needs to be grounded. Okay, so I'm going to put my copper mesh grounded hat on, and I'm going to say, well, maybe, perhaps, if these people are not controlled opposition, they were at least allowed to be on YouTube. And I've been on YouTube since 2008, believe it or not. You can look at my channel, this one, okay, it's 2013 or something like that. But I've been on YouTube on my other channels way before that. I've seen many, many people get banned and deleted. And it's when they say shit, there's actually... When they say shit, when they say shit that's actually a little bit, oh, I've got to think about that, you know? Like, outside of this whole bullshit, what he's talking about, what he's talking about, Sydney, whatever, says something a bit controversial. I can tell you right now, right, between you and me, my loyal subscribers, right, if anyone is on YouTube, number one, they're allowed to be there. Number one, they are allowed to be there. So you won't hear, if you only consume YouTube content, there's a whole huge thing in every subject that you could imagine that you're not consuming. And you can get a little bit of it on Rumble, you can get a little bit of it on BitTube, but really, the internet is not what it used to be. You know what I mean? He's complaining about like these people. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I might have fucking gone on a tangent here, but like, he's bitching about some people on YouTube or something, saying this or that. Well, they're on YouTube. They've been allowed to be on YouTube. If you really say some fucking shit, some real shit, not this kind of fucking shit, not the kind of shit the people who he's talking about say. The real shit, the shit that fucking, you're like, holy moly. You know, the real stuff. You're never gonna see it on YouTube. Even on my channel. I'll try my best to be like that. I don't fucking hold back. But you'll know, like, I'm gonna get deleted at one point, for sure. Because I don't hold back. That's why I'm gonna get deleted.
Post of him doing it. Is he eating with his hands? Gross, beyond gross. Bhaskar Sankara writing back. It's actually really easy to eat rice with your hands. People act like this is some barbaric ritual when it's just basic table dexterity for 1 billion or 2 people.
No, this is basically just a distraction. It's a fucking distraction. I'm not going to use the word psyop, but it's a distraction. Come on. No one really cares, okay, about a politician who's going to look after their lives, about like, or change their lives with different tax things and stuff like that. If they fucking eat with their fucking hands, come on. Do you know? Unless that person is kind of playing some game. I'll tell you what, man. If he was the mayor of my town, I don't give a fuck if he eats of it. He can fucking lick the food off his balls, and I don't fucking care. Do you know what I mean? Like, my issue is, like, is he gonna make my life better? And the thing is, I'm pretty sure this is a choice these guys are facing between a rock and a hard place.
People a day, people underneath saying, but why didn't your culture like create eating utensils? And then someone just tweeting at him, actually, you're going back, right? So anyone defending eating rice with your hands has to be deported, according to the American far right. And it's just so insane. Like, even that Sydney Watson, who is a far right Australian, saying that, like, oh, you come from a culture that didn't invent eating utensils. Okay, if we use your logic, you come from a white settler culture that does use eating utensils.
Is he gonna like pull out there, well, we eat sandwiches with our hands? Which is a fair point. We eat sandwich with our hands. Maybe they're like, holy fuck, look at these dudes. They're eating sandwich with their hands and not knife and fork. And I can tell you, I've worked with some very rich places and shit, you know what I mean? Like, they're actually very rich people I've seen eat. You know, these people are like, what, we don't really know, you know, rich, you know, like, you know, they have a different whole life and shit. They will eat a sandwich with a fucking knife and fork, you know? I don't know if it's their culture or if it's like They don't want to touch it or something. I don't know. I mean, I touched it. I fucking made it. I never rubbed my balls on it. I didn't really. Should have.
So why do you eat so much shit with your hands then? If you're so much better than all those barbarians in other countries who eat with their hands, why do you still eat with your hands? Like, most people eat with their hands every single day, no matter what country they live in.
I can tell you one thing, man. Like, this is something that changed my life. I like, it's not like I'm not fucking breaking the matrix here, right? Loads of people have talked about it for years. Very simple. If you like cheesy puffs, I like cheesy puffs, you know? Eat the cheesy puffs with chopsticks, okay? Like, you will learn how to use chopsticks very quickly. But if you eat cheesy puffs with chopsticks, you don't get the problem with the cheesy puff shit all over your hands, right?
You having a problem because it's specifically rice, because it looks different to you, it just shows you're just such a fucking racist. I don't understand the logic that it's okay when it's burritos, tacos, pizza, French fries, crisps, but when it comes to rice, which people eat with their hands anyway, I've seen so many people eat sushi with their hands in the UK, it's pretty common. You draw the line because there isn't a barrier of seaweed.
Yeah, so we're still, okay, we're like 8 minutes in now. We're on like this complete tangent about some American guy and mail something, and apparently people don't like that he ate fucking rice with his hands. I'm going to give this kind of like a few more minutes because he started the shit out with England. I'm from England. I'm not from America. He better bring it back to England pretty soon. I'm fucking out of here, man.
Between the rice and your hands. Again, absolutely insane. But that is what we're dealing with right now. They're attacking candidate for office with a South Asian background just because he is doing something that is very common in his culture, is probably very common for most people in the world to eat rice that way, and is also the most common thing among humans to eat with their hands. And they're just so racist they can't help themselves. But now let's move on to conservatives a bit more. And hatred for Indians amongst American conservatives has just been going.
And conservatives means English, right? Like Tories, hopefully. Because I can't put it with this fucking cunt too much longer.
Insane lately. And a lot of this has to do with similar like rhetoric you see in Canada. As you probably remember, Elon Musk was saying he would die on the hill of defending the H-1B visa, which has enabled people from around the globe, but also
yeah, it's probably like, okay, I'm gonna fucking comment on this shit. I work mostly as an immigrant in all the countries I work in. I have to put a lot of effort in to get the visas, and the point of the visa when I get them is no one in this country has a better skill set in this particular thing. I'm not clever. I'm not brilliant. I just have a unique skill. What's that thing in there? Taken. I've got a unique set of skills. You know what I mean? So I'm like that. Like, I'm nothing special, man. But I got some unique set of skills which some people do not have in other countries. That's how I can get a fucking visa. But you know, I have the same problem as these H2B kind of guys. It's like, when I get the visa, I'm beholden to my employer. Do you know what I mean? If I get fired, I've got to get out of the fucking country. Do you know what I mean? Now, what I do, I play it a different way. I don't think it's the same with the H2 thing in America, where there's a lot of them. But I can guarantee that their bosses will try to hold this over them, you know? That the fact that, like, if they get fired, they've got to leave the country. Whereas I don't come from fucking India to go into America. I'm coming from a Western country to poorer countries, because these poor countries, luckily for me, there's a skill lack, right? But I've had a little bit of that kind of nudge, you know? That nudge. And I'm like, well, I don't give a fuck. Fire me. Who are you going to replace me? Good luck. Good fucking luck. You can. I don't give a shit. I'm out of here tomorrow. And that works good for me, but that does not work good for these H-2B visa people in America. I can guarantee when it comes to, say, the boss goes, shit, man, like, you've already worked 50 hours or 60 hours, but we need to finish this project. So you're going to have to work like another 20 hours. Now, someone who's an American, who has the rights of an American, and they are from America, okay? They will just go, well, fuck off. Or say, okay, yeah, I'll do like another 20 hours, but I want 3 times the pay per hour. You know what I mean? No, like, what the employers would like is these H-2B Indian guys and shit, when they can go, do you want to work 20 miles? Oh, yes, fucking yes, because they want the money, because they're sending the money back, or they're doing what I said at the beginning of this video, or my last video, where it's like, these people are going to be buying houses back in India. They're going to be lifting their family up, you know? Whereas the person in America who has to do 20 more hours isn't going to be doing that and will complain, because they're like, fuck, what are you going to do? Work every fucking hour of your life and still be poor? Or still not get ahead? You know what I mean? Whereas like someone from another country, like India or something, they're there on your visa. I'm the employer. They're on my fucking visa. If I ask them, will you do 20 miles? They'll say, yes, sir. How high, sir? How high can I... Will you jump? Yes, sir. How high can I jump, sir? They will do anything, right? And also, the money they're getting is more... They're thinking of it in Indian money. Do you know what I mean? Or wherever they're from. It's the whole thing. They're going to go to India, to America maybe for 5 or 6 years. Maybe they want to live there forever. Okay, great. Even then, they're going to be sending money home. But if they are there for like 5 or 6 years, they can buy a fucking house. And there ain't no one in America that can work 5 years and buy a fucking house with cash in America. That's the difference. Look at like Plato's fucking Republic. It's a thing. Like, you want people from other... You want... is it Plato's Republic? I don't know. I'm not fucking a bastards yell. Is it Aristotle or Plato? One of those guys wrote an idea about like the perfect fucking city, right? And you need people to come from outside to work who will get more back at home. And that is how the H2 fucking B fucking visa works. You know what I mean? There ain't no one on an H2B visa when they are asked, okay, let's imagine they're working 5 days. Probably not. They're probably working more than that. Let's say they're working 6 days. And it's like, okay, we need you to come in on Sunday for 10 hours. Yeah, they're not going to say no. Do you know what I mean? There's no fucking way they're going to say no. And the off ramp of that is that it fucks the people that actually live there in whatever country this is happening, because now they're like a second class worker. I know I've worked in England when all the fucking Eastern Europeans came and shit.
Lots of Indian people come to America and work for big tech companies. And the dystopian part of why people like Elon Musk like this system is because they like having that power and control over their workforce.
Yes,
if you remember, when he took over Twitter, there were loads of people who lost their jobs at Twitter who were on these visas. And when they lost them, they had to either find work very quickly or they would have to leave America. And it gives him that power to...
I've been working overseas for like most of my life, right? I'd say the average, if you lose your job, your visa is tied to your job. You've got like 2 weeks to 4 weeks to get out the fucking country. It's like that. Imagine right now, right? You're working somewhere and you get fired and you've got to fucking sort the shit out with your rental. I can guarantee the rental isn't 2 weeks deposit. You're going to lose on that. You got to sell everything you've got. Because when you leave a country, you pretty much, I think it's like 30 kilograms or something. Anything over 30 kilograms, you got to sell that, man. You got to sell that, man. And you might have 2 weeks to 4 weeks to fucking sell it. I don't know what it is in America, but you know what I mean? Like, the bosses have a big power over you. A big power. He's talking about it. He kind of gets it a little bit. What maybe he's not getting is that the employers, if they've got all these little fucking foreign guys like me, for instance, that affects the local people too. Do you know what I mean? It makes the local people more disposable.
Just exploit these people even further and pay these people even less. But it's fair to say that most American workers are not losing out their jobs to Indian migrants on H-1B visas.
I don't know about that. I'm guessing they're getting paid less because it's about competition. Do you know what I mean? You go for a job somewhere and you've got like someone else on if they can get 10 H-2B visas or whatever the fuck he's talking about from India, then you automatically lose how much you can ask for with pay. It's supply and demand. It's pretty fucking simple. It's supply and demand. If there's more supply, right, then you can't go to you go for a job in fucking, I don't know, Microsoft or something, and you're a computer guy, you know, before chat GPT, before chat PG tips has taken your job, right? Like, okay, you got a choice. How much will you work for? You know what I mean? In the interview. How much can you ask for? Imagine there's no H-1B visas. There's no fucking Indians or whatever coming here. You can ask a little bit more money. So what happens is, which I don't think he's going to address, is not only might you not get the job, if you're going to get the job, you're going to be dropping down to what the Indian people, the foreigners, who can buy a house with their money back home, you're going to be dropping down to what they're willing to work for. And if they're from India, fuck, I don't know, something like 80K a year would be like, holy shit, I'm going to fucking buy a village and name it after myself back in India. Whereas someone in America on 80K, they'd be like, okay, well, hopefully, after taxes, I can afford maybe to buy a house if I'm lucky, like a shit house. Lucky and 25-year mortgage. Do you know what I'm saying?
This is just something they have recently clung to, probably because they've been affected by the discourse in America. So that has drove a lot of the racism and xenophobia that, you know, typical... And
it's not racist or xenophobic. if the labor force that where you live is being not diluted, because that might sound racist, not diluted. If it's being lessened, do you know what I mean? If the labor force is being lessened by immigrants, he won't know, because I bet he's fucking never had a fucking job.
Immigrant rhetoric. They're coming to my country and they are taking good old-fashioned American jobs. And in that culture as well, we see pages like this which have verified ticks, which is India take.
I'm gonna find out where this guy lives. I'm gonna emigrate to his place, and I'm gonna work for like cheaper than he will, and I'm gonna work harder for he will. Then we'll fucking see.
L's. Now, it seems to be this account is an American conservative one. I wouldn't put it past it to actually be like a foreign account. We see with a lot of like of the biggest Israeli accounts or pro-Israeli accounts, they're actually run by Indian people. And in this case...
Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Melanie and David Clark. First, I'll look at the background of this case. Move to...
Taste the tropical vibe of GSM Blue Gin Pop. Ikaw, what's your true? Potency Zinc Advance with the power of 3. Plus the immunity. Mug Potency Zinc Advance.
Back to the same video.
Could this be run by a Pakistani person or someone from a country that hates India that isn't America? Perhaps, but it is primarily...
He does have a point. The posts online can be like political bots, you know? They can be. I think just before we jump to the other thing, he was talking about, like, for some reason, he was talking about Israel and shit. I don't fucking know where that came from. Hang on, let's go back, because that's quite interesting if he was actually talking about Israel. When we're not, this whole video got nothing to do with fucking Israel.
As well, we see pages like this which have verified ticks, which is India taking L's. Now, it seems to be this account is an American conservative one. I wouldn't put it past...
Let's just say, like, okay. I might, on this channel, I'm not going to have a dog in the race with the whole Israel shit. Because it's fucking YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
It to actually be like a foreign account. We see with a lot of like of the biggest Israeli accounts or pro-Israeli accounts, they're actually run by Indian people. And in this case, could this be run by a Pakistani?
Okay, so he's talking about like pro-Israel accounts being run by Indian people. I would like to see some proof of that. But I could get it, you know, like I could understand how that could be a thing. Because if you want like not bots, you don't need to pay them. If you need like human bots, maybe some guy in Calcutta, you pay him, I don't know, fucking $10 a day, and he can sit there all day and make what he's talking about so yeah, maybe it's happening. I don't know. I don't think about that. Like, I pretty much ignore a lot of the comments that I see on YouTube, apart from on my channel. I value all of your comments. But the comments I see, a lot of them are bots. A lot of them even talking political shit. It's got nothing to do with the video. It's like, okay, that's a bot, or it's someone who's paid. Maybe it's someone who's paid from India. Maybe he's right. Maybe Israel's paying people in India like $10 a day to make posts. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's like everything, man. Like, I might not like this guy and what he's saying, right? I'll be honest. I kind of don't like this guy, and I kind of don't like what he's saying. But maybe every now and again he's saying something that's true. He could have a point. I'd never even thought about that. I just assumed all bots were bots. I never thought that there's actual people getting paid. But shit. Yeah, like for like $10 a day, say, I could pay someone in India to just like big up my channel, I reckon I could do that. You know what I mean?
Person or someone from a country that hates India that isn't America, perhaps, but it is primarily focusing on like American hatred of Indians. And if you go through the post, it just has loads of shit that plays into loads of stereotypes about Indians being dirty, unhygienic. That is the stuff that basically fueled the Zoran mum.
I'm going to say something very controversial here because I've had an experience with Indians. I've not been to India. I've been to Nepal, but I've worked with lots of Indians. And Indians generally don't have the same thing. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but the idea of like soap and like hand wash and like body wash and those kind of things, it's quite new. It's very new to India. I don't judge those people for it because I don't give a fuck. No, I'm pretty stinky. I'm as stinky as I can get away with. Do you know what I mean? I will tell you one thing, and I don't judge it. The Indians, the whole culture generally, soap's kind of new. It is kind of new. That's a thing, right? It's just a fucking thing. And you know, like when I talk to my parents and shit, like my parents were like mining family and shit. They had a wash day. I think it was, I don't know, Sunday or Saturday, I don't know. You'd wash once a week, right? And what they said to me, and I think this is important, that you would recognize the smell of people. Like Uncle so-and-so comes here, you'd recognize his smell. You'd recognize your brother's smell. You recognize your sister's smell. You recognize your dad's smell. You recognize your mum's smell. Everybody had a smell. Do you know what I mean? It was like, that's the way it was because you only wash once a week. And perhaps that is how we should be. Perhaps we've developed over, I don't know, fucking 1 million years to smell a particular way. You know what I mean? And that's how we recognize, and it's not just what someone looks like, you smell them, right? So who are we to fucking give some shit about the Indians not having soap? Maybe they're ahead of us. Do you know what I mean? Let's just look at their fucking country. They're doing pretty well now. I'm not even fucking joking. They're doing pretty well. Look, in the next 20 years, they're going to be probably pretty powerful. Only if they sort their military out. If they get their military sorted, they're fucking ahead of everybody, right? So don't judge these guys like having a different smell thing. Maybe that's their fucking strength. Maybe we were wrong by washing too much. And I'm not even joking here.
Money, rice scandal, you see all these posts saying shit like this. Indians expect the world to treat them well enough. Though the only experience hundreds of millions of people have with Indians is someone calling them to scam them out of money, just like blatant racism. I mean, what is more common for Westerners? To have an experience with South Asians and Indians through either growing up alongside them or, let's say, a very...
I can tell you as an English person, and I'm from fucking Newcastle, there's not that many brown people there, man. I had Muslim friends, proper fucking Muslim friends. I had Indian friends. We're talking like a small percentage, but equal. You don't give a fuck. You go and play football with the fucking black kid. Do you know what I mean? You go and play football with the fucking Muslim kid from Turkey or something. You don't give a fuck. Like, England is not racist, man.
One eating at an Indian restaurant, so interacting with Indian culture that way, or being scammed by someone phoning them from India. I don't know about you, but I think the restaurant example is way more common. Just saying loads of other shit like there are way too many Indians in India. Just going full mask off. Indians brought their...
Okay, so what it seems to happen here is like, this motherfucker has found a Twitter channel. The Twitter... Is it a channel on Twitter? I'm not fucking on Twitter. I got banned. Twitter... Whatever, Twitter thing. He's found the most a racist or something, most triggering Twitter thing to follow, and then make a video about what this racist Twitter guy has said, because his channel is all about the racism. If you get offline, talk to normal people, go for a fucking pint with somebody, they probably don't fucking hate Indians. They probably don't hate brown people. Even if they've got a problem with the ones we can't talk about, the ones that aren't Hindus or aren't Sikhs, they're probably okay with most of them. They've probably got friends who are like that. Do you know what I'm saying? The problem is it's an online shit, man. It's all online. This cunt is online. He's found someone that's triggered him. You know, this guy maybe is a genius troll. I hope maybe I can get back on Twitter, man. I could troll better than that, I'm sure.
To scam them out of money, just like blatant racism. I mean, what is more...
I could troll better than this because I'm not in the UK, so I couldn't go to jail. You know what I mean? Because you can't make these kind of jokes or whatever if you're actually in the UK. They'll come and knock on your fucking door. Believe it or not.
Common for Westerners to have an experience with South Asians and Indians through either growing up alongside them, or let's say a very common one, eating at an Indian restaurant, so interacting with Indian culture that way, or being scammed by someone phoning them from India. I don't know about you, but I think the restaurant example is way more common. Just saying loads of other shit like there are way too many Indians in India. Just going full mask off. Indians brought their top 0.01% talent to America, and almost 5% of that point...
Yeah, okay, but this is like, he's found something on fucking Twitter that annoys him. Just don't find shit on Twitter that annoys you.
0.1% elite human capital is on food stamps. In contrast, Operation Paperclip did the same thing with Germans, but instead of truck driving accidents and food stamps, America went to the moon. So yeah, Nazi war criminals, good. Indian migrants working for Apple and Tesla, bad, because a really small minority of them have food stamps.
With Globe, when you use your mobile data, you can give back to others via GoGive. Go for it with Globe Prepaid.
What? That's a AI. I hate AI. Fucking hate AI.
One Tesla, bad, because a really small minority of them have food stamps. But yeah, you have loads of accounts like this, like just posting non-stop anti-Indian propaganda. So Codex India, exposing the unfiltered reality of India to the world. So Italian American explains why a customer left his pizza shop very angry. So foreign customer walks into a pizzeria and...
I'll tell you one thing, right? Okay, like if I was the king of a country or something, or I'm like the president, or the highest guy in a country, I'd be pissed off with these trolling fucking accounts that are making my country look bad. And this motherfucker, this cunt, he's got a point, right? Like, there is lots of these accounts that are taking a piss out of India, right? Now, he's just talking about being racist. I'm thinking something else. I'm thinking, okay, like we're living in a new age now, right? And it's a warfare thing. It's warfare to discount countries. Like there's been a lot of this shit with England. People discounting England, making England look shit, right? There's people making India look shit. People making, I'm guessing America's probably got a lot of other countries that are trying to make them look shit online. And I think he might be missing the point saying it's racist. It could actually be enemy action to discredit in the mind of the people. Okay, he's talking about like all the shit he's talking about is English speaking or something. So Anglosphere, right? As far as I know, they don't speak fucking English in India. India's a very complicated country, got many religions and cultures and shit. But perhaps what's happening is the other countries are looking at India and going, holy fuck, these guys are actually doing pretty well. There's like 1 billion of them or something, and they've actually kind of starting to sort their fucking shit out, and there might be a threat to us. Let's make them look like cunts. Let's, what do you need to pay? What, $10? Give someone $10 to a day, or maybe $20, I don't know. To just put some shit up about fucking India. I'm pretty good at fucking this kind of shit. Do you know what I mean? I could fucking meme the shit out of fucking any country. You know what I mean? And maybe I'd do it for like $100. I'm not gonna do it for 20. I'm good at this shit. Maybe $300 a day, $200 a day. That's nothing. That's cheap. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of this shit is actually cultural and economic warfare done by a different way. Like, all this Indian shit is to make India look shit, right? So you're probably going to be just a little bit, even if this is like 10% less likely to strike a business up with these guys, someone in India, like an import business or whatever, or less likely to go there on holiday, or just think that it's like backwards, like, and the West is better, like, this is something that countries do. Okay, we're in the internet age now. It's different. Before the internet age, people were doing this shit with books, predominantly. Now on the internet age, someone could just make a fucking video, like saying India's shit or something. I don't know. Like some kind of viral video that makes India... I think one of the famous ones that happened like in the last week or something is like the poop, like they've got somewhere in India, they've got this thing where they throw poop at each other, or whatever, that kind of shit. Make that viral, make India look shit. Like, that's going to be beneficial to many other countries because it just takes India back a little bit on the world stage. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like racism against Indians has got so much worse. Maybe it's actually there's some kind of psychological operation, economic operation to make India look shit. I would believe that way more than this whole racism shit. Because most people, okay, they might have like prejudices or something, but most people in the world, 90%, I say, are like not evil. Do you know what I mean? They're not evil racists, right? So, yeah, he's paying for this. He might have a point. I think I said before on Sphere, like, you have to listen to fucking the people that you don't like, because sometimes they'll just have like they'll give you a glimpse. And the glimpse I'm having is maybe there is some anti-racism shit on the fucking interwebs. And if it's on like YouTube and shit, it's being allowed to happen. You know what I mean? Because I'm a bit old school. I've been on YouTube for a long time, and particularly when the whole like cough thing happened. That coughing, people started coughing and shit. Oh, like there's a few channels that were calling that shit out. They got deleted. You know what I mean? So yeah, he has a point. If it's being allowed for people to be racist to India or whatever, maybe it's for a reason. And I know I've seen some of this video and what he said before. Like he's all about Israel-Palestine conflict or something. Like you couldn't talk about that a while ago, or your channel would get deleted. So isn't it interesting now that you can't talk about that kind of shit and your channel doesn't get deleted? That's what's more interesting to me. Not like people being racist or what the fucking cunt saying.
Demands free shit and then throws a hissy fit when the restaurant charges him extra. A reader tells me that the customer is likely Indian, so doesn't know where this person is from, and then goes on to say, Indians are notoriously cheap, demand free shit, then flip out when they have to pay it. So again, this stuff is just absolutely so normal on places like Twitter.
Oh shit, I've done it again.
Move to the timeline of the
This happened before.
Then offer my analysis.
I went back.
Melanie Clark was born.
It's just absolutely so normal on places like Twitter now. There's another one.
Okay, so or someone said like Indians like to haggle. Yes, they do. That's their fucking culture. He's not been to India. I've not been to India ever. I've been to Nepal. It's kind of close. I've worked with and had many Indian customers, or not customers, of course, clients, Indians haggle, man. That's what they fucking do, because that's their culture.
One called Crime Reports India, and also let me say, all these accounts are being paid for these posts. Like the incentive to post this shit is to make money, and instead of actually reporting on crimes that might be happening in it,
I just like to say, this guy has very good audio. So whatever fucking microphone he is using, I want to know what it is.
Yeah, it just has stuff like this. Canadian rivers and lakes turning into bathrooms because there's South Asian people swimming in a Canadian river or something. White Canadians have never swam in a river or a lake, ever. It's only Indian people who do this. So yeah, not many crimes being reported on Report Crimes India, but that is just like the online context of all of these conservatives just feeling completely okay with being insanely racist to Indians. And now let's move on to what I was saying about the UK example. So, like with the UK, but probably not as much, you have visible South Asians in the American far right and also the American government. And probably the most powerful among them is Kash Patel, who was an absolute conspiracy nut job, like podcast.
Well, yeah, so, like, that kind of proves that America's not racist, right? Because, okay, I'm looking at this guy. He looks a bit Indian, okay? And America had a president, if you can remember, just a little bit back. Obama, right? He's even called it Barack Hussein Obama or something. And he was like black. You're like, how is America racist when you've got like the head of the FBI, who I think looks Indian? Am I racist for saying that? He looks a bit fucking Indian to me. And then the actual president, the POTUS or whatever, actually a black guy. I don't know, maybe half black, I don't know. But look pretty fucking black to me. Do you know what I mean? How is it racist? You know what I mean? They still haven't had a woman yet, you know? Okay, we had like 2 women. We had in England, we had Margaret Thatcher, who is, I can make a whole video about her. But, you know, a little bit respected, at least as a leader, whether you like her or not. And then we had like Liz Truss, that's the 2 female prime ministers. And America's had no female prime minister as far as I know.
Pastor and YouTube host before becoming the head of the FBI. So yeah, he is a terrible guy, a terrible fascist as well. But let's see how...
He's a terrible fascist. Okay, like, maybe he knows something I don't know. How is he a terrible fascist? Like, what the fuck? Okay. If you're going to call someone a terrible fascist, you need to, like, back that up with something, like, because you did this, right?
American conservatives like him. So, happy Diwali, celebrating the festival of lights around the world as good triumphs over evil. So, pretty standard Diwali post there. The top reply, get the fuck out of my country. Another one.
Respects this guy, at least he pronounced it correctly. Many people don't.
No, America is a Christian nation. Sir, please don't promote the festival of foreign gods in America. Christ is king. I've seen that one. Is that the festival where they all shit in the street? This is America. We don't do this. Go back to India. Good triumphed over evil when Jesus died on the cross. Get your pagan nonsense out of here. So another prominent conservative, is he like some sort of pastor or some shit? Go back home and worship your sand demons. Get out of my country. So that is what you're getting for selling your soul to the American far right. If you are South Asian, primarily Indian, you can't even express happiness about your own religious festival without American conservatives.
Excuse me, sir. You could pick any comment from any video that's going to be bad. I could literally film. I don't have a cat, but if I did have a cat, right, I could film a cat playing with a ball of wool. And if it was popular, I can guarantee I would get some hate comments. What? And then I'm going to say, look at these people that hate kittens playing with wool. It's just like easy. It's too easy. Every popular thing that is on Twitter or YouTube, you can find a comment that is bad. Do you know what I mean? It's like a kind of bullshit thing to do.
Who, yes, support Donald Trump, telling you that you should go back to your country and racially abusing you. But again, these people don't care. They think they'll be accepted. Kash Patel is clearly, obviously, sold out to white supremacy, and he's become a part of it, and he thinks he will never become a target of it. And these people help create this hysterical climate that does target groups like Indian migrants and stuff like that, thinking it won't ever hurt them as well. But it clearly will at some point. And another person who's absolutely shameless, although not South Asian, is J.D. Vance. Now, J.D. Vance is married to an Indian woman, and even he said this recently.
Fucking, he's so racist that he married an Indian woman. What's he going to say now?
J.D. Vance says,
Old Spice keeps your bits fresh all day.
Fucking.
I got a feeling.
I never fucking had it. I'm sorry about this.
J.D. Vance says he's raising his children Christian, and he hopes his agnostic wife, Usha, comes around to the Christian faith. Vance's 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago, and his 2 oldest kids go to a Christian school. Most Sundays she comes with me to church. Do I hope eventually she is moved by the same thing I was moved by? Yes, I honestly do wish that. I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it that way. Now, obviously, J.D. Vance is an absolutely, terrible fucking person, but him even saying that he hopes his wife will convert to Christianity, publicly, I think is all about like political posturing in terms of
maybe
he knows that American conservatives won't accept his wife. So he's, especially if she isn't a Christian, so he's saying, well, I hope she becomes a Christian.
Oh, good point.
And I bet if J.D. Vance becomes the nominee for president next, his wife will convert to Christianity.
Yeah, good point. I was gonna hang up this shit earlier because he's talking about America. He started out England. We're still talking about America, but we've only got like 3 minutes left, so fuck it.
And a lot of people were saying like he's really disrespecting his wife and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I don't think she is unaware of what he's doing. I don't think they haven't had conversations about this as well, about how he would probably have to do this to help with his political career. It wouldn't be the most crazy thing. But again, he just gets loads of abuse on Twitter and how they can't trust him because he's married to an Indian and because he's gone to places like India while being vice president. And that is the state of like American conservatism in regards to like just Indians generally.
But who gives a fuck? That's America. What the fuck has that got to do with England?
See your vice president squirming. And also, this is the same vice president who, when it leaked that a youth group of people in the GOP, including people who worked for GOP politicians, were all talking about how much they love Hitler. He was
No. Okay, I don't know much about this, but this is like the private group chat. We all say kind of crazy shit in a fucking private group chat, right? The problem now is like everything's open. Everything gets hacked. Everything... Do you know what I mean? It's fucking terrible. That's a real problem.
In them. So he's not someone who's like a moderating voice in the Republican Party trying to stop this crazed white supremacy from completely taking over, like this actual Nazi shit, right? He is defending people who say this stuff while having an Indian wife who they are racist against as well and who they will never ever accept. But again, it shows you how shameless these politicians are.
I can say, like, okay, this might have some points about American politics. He didn't start this video with this. He started out this video saying English people are fucking racist.
Oh, and it's just the depressing state of the world. I feel like this issue specifically isn't getting like loads of coverage, but it is depressing to see. And I would just say to anyone who thinks rising hatred against Indians, like...
What's depressing for me to see is how popular this guy is. Like, I respect him for saying what he thinks, you know? It's fucking great. But I am a little bit annoyed how popular he is, because it means a lot of people can't see through his shit.
Won't affect everyone. You have another thing coming because it's always one scapegoat. And I've said in the UK, it's more focused on Muslims. In the US, it appears to be Indians. But I know obviously loads of Indians and Muslims don't have good opinions of each other and actually probably hate each other more than white people hate.
Okay, fair enough. He did say the right thing here, because that is actually how it is. I respect him a little bit more now.
Both groups. But at the same time, they have to realise that if you're living as a minority in this country, the racists and conservatives that you might ideologically align with don't view you.
When are you a minority? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there not places like London and places in, what is it, fucking areas of like Leeds or something where you're actually in a minority if you're white?
As one of them. And just because you say you also hate Muslims, for example, like a lot of South Asian conservatives do in the UK, doesn't mean they're going to accept you because they don't like all of you. And you would hope for a lot of them that would be a way.
No, I think actually, I'm not in the EDL. I never would be part of anything like that. But I've known some people in EDL, and some of them are brown.
Up point that you shouldn't believe in a conservative ideology, especially in a Western country, because it's going to backfire massively. Just look at Kash Patel. He's become the director of the FBI, and they're still racially abusing him on Twitter. People like Steve Bannon love that book. I think it's called Camp of the Saints, which is about Indian migrants like taking over Europe or something like that. That informs why.
You know, I think like the best thing I would say to anybody watching, who's still watching now, Just don't even care about this shit. Who cares about this shit? Okay, so like this guy cares about it. Other people care about it. Politicians care about it. Whatever. Just ignore it, man. The best thing you can do in this life is look after yourself. What can I do with my money that's going to help me? What can I do that will help me have a business? What can I do to avoid problems? For me, it was just to get the fuck out of England. The fuck out of this shit. I don't live where this matters. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. It matters to me only out of interest. My money is not there. I have like about £20, literally, in the fucking UK. That's it.